TG Geeks, episode 361, January 17th, 2022. Toss a coin to your swifter. What? Hello and welcome to another webcast from tggeeks.com, where Ben and Keith, the Two Gay Geeks, talked about all aspects of Geek-dom and Nerd-ery, sci-fi, comics, film, horror, genre, you name it, we talk about it. I'm Keith Lane, and we're coming to you from, it's kind of a springy day today. It's TG Squared Studios in lovely Phoenix, Arizona.
Yes, and springy, it's kind of a bit gray outside.
Yeah.
A little bit, but yeah, I suppose it's early spring here in Phoenix, Arizona. Oh, and I'm Ben.
Yep. I got confused on the tag. The Swifter is a cleaner-upper thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It confused me too.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get on with this.
Prepare for hyperdrive.
Meanwhile, in the Hall of Episodes, the Two Gay Geeks are discussing this.
Wow, I'm hearing things that I haven't heard before.
I wonder why.
We just got new headphones or big cans that are really actually quite nice to listen to stuff, so I hear things differently. In this episode, we are going to give our thoughts on the first season of The Witcher. And then we'll have our birthday shout-outs, our featured podcast of the week, and some feedback, regular shout-outs. In the second segment, we might have something to talk about. And then we'll have our wacky weekly recap as well as our regular shout-outs. So let's get on with this discussion. Well, this is our discussion.
This is an embarrassment, actually.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about it here a couple of weeks ago, and we admit we are a little late to this party.
A little?
But because I kept hearing about it and thinking, what is all the hype about this thing? And then we decided, well, since several things are on hiatus and we've already watched everything else up that we need to watch.
And also, a good friend of the show and of ours, Mark Biaggi, had stated that he had started to watch it and only had seen like a couple of episodes and was not enjoying it, which kind of ran afoul from all the heaps of praise I've been hearing that the show is receiving, not to mention the fact that Netflix kept renewing it.
Right.
So then I thought, let's take a look at this. And, oh my.
Yeah, the first episode was like really interesting.
It was interesting, but I didn't understand any of it.
I didn't understand a single thing that was going on. And that was the case through episode 3.
And
and
possibly then, even a little further than that.
Yeah, but it's beginning to come together. At the end of the first season, a lot of questions were answered, and then obviously we've started watching the second season, and so there's some really interesting things happening in the second season that we're not even going to talk about.
No, and when we
point.
say that a lot of questions were answered, we're not just saying, questions that were asked as a part of the show. We're saying our own questions as we were watching and saying, what? I don't get it.
What is going on here?
And then
what?
Then it was in the third episode that we realized, oh, holy
there's
smokes.
3 timelines.
There's at least 2, if not 3 timelines that are going on.
And they're converging, if you will, and we saw that in 4, and then all the way in through the end of the first season, the convergence.
Yeah.
Of the timelines. But I will say that Henry Cavill, as he's almost unrecognizable.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen him in enough things, some of the DC Extended Universe movies, as well as our personal, one of our personal favorites, Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Yep.
And here, he's like, who?
Yeah. What? Who? The Witcher?
Yeah.
What are you? But I enjoyed some of the character building and the world building, even though I know that's not your thing.
Well,
for
I don't,
the most part. But
I don't
it's info dump.
Yeah, in this particular case, it's just a lot of info dump, and I despise that. I mean, world building, if it's happening, say, at the narrator's pace, that's fine. I mean, I've read plenty of books and seen shows and movies where there is world building taking place, but it's done in reveals here and there as the either the narrator in the book or maybe the main character in a movie as they're being introduced to something, and the world building then takes place in that respect. I have no problem with that. I love that. I cannot stomach info dump. It's just way too much, and it pushes me away. And had it not been for this show's reputation, I would have given up on it because it was just so much thrown at me at once. And now that we've gotten through the first season, I feel almost tempted to rewatch those first 3 or 4 episodes again and see if I can better understand what's going on.
Yeah, it really is, because it just drops you right into the middle of, a campaign, shall we say, by Henry Cavill as a lone, person doing all of this stuff. And then I still don't understand a couple of the plot points of where they live in this, other than, he was known as the Butcher of Blaviken because he killed, the one, what was her name?
Renfrey?
Yes, Renfrey. And does she appear again later? I was kind of expecting some kind of tie-in to whatever, but and apparently not.
Does she appear in something other than a daydream or some sort of a hallucination?
Right.
Because that's the only time we've seen her now.
Yeah. And then the female, the baby that was the Striga, so, I mean, we haven't heard or seen anything about that.
Although we've seen
we've
seen her father.
Yeah, the interesting thing is that when they showed her face, she looked remarkably like Ciri.
Too much like Ciri that we actually got confused and thought it was Ciri for a moment.
We had to go back and look at several episodes, and it was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, because then we started calling into question Ciri's birthright, what her genealogy is, because there was some correlation to her grandmother. I'm like, wait a minute, she's the illegitimate, the naughty daughter, if you will, of these two siblings that got it on. So I was like very confused, and then we took a second look and went, oh no, she just looks like Ciri.
Just looks like Ciri, yes.
But boy, did that mess us up. And if our phones start turning on, I'm going to get very upset.
What?
If our phones turn on because we kept saying,
I know.
I kept saying Ciri.
Hey, Ciri.
No, don't say that.
And then one of the other characters, it did come on my...
It did come on your iPad far
out. It's surprising. Hopefully it didn't come across. Anyway, the bard was just really kind of, wow, what an interesting person.
Mm-hmm.
And it just... And then he's just disposed of.
Yeah.
Discarded.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that you think are going to play significant parts, and then they are just brushed aside, never to be seen again.
Yeah, but the one of the most interesting points was in the episode Rare Species, where we see the dragons.
Yeah.
And the old man that's, going to on his last quest, shall we say, with his two guards, shall we say, and then all of a sudden he reappears as the dragon himself. But what he says about Geralt was that basically he's the Witcher with a conscience.
More or less, yes.
More or less, with a moral imperative. He knows to save dragons and not kill them, and knows. And there were a number of things in that episode which gave us an idea that Geralt is not just this mad killer to kill everything.
Right.
He said, number one, he's not a killer for hire.
No.
I mean, obviously, he will kill when threatened, and when somebody that he's protecting is threatened.
Yeah, as we've seen him do.
He's just not a crazy killer like the knight was that killed the little friendly creature that Geralt says,
just feed it.
Just if we had just fed it, it would have gone away. So, and then, with the dragons and the old man being the gold dragon. It's like, oh my gosh.
I thought that was
fascinating.
Was a nice little twist. I would love to see how that plays out. I'd like to see more on that.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to.
Well, I don't think so. The way they discard characters, like, wow.
I know. I know.
But
it's real. I don't say that it is frustrating. It's very frustrating. One of the things that I love to watch in a show are the characters, because for me that's my gateway. Not just the plot, but if you can start giving me characters that are kind of compelling, that attract some sort of an interest in me, there's your hook.
Right.
And admittedly, The Witcher he's sort of a mysterious character, but there's, and I said this in my 3-episode thoughts review that I ran earlier, or this last week. This is not, I would not call this a major acting stretch for Henry Cavill, because Geralt is
emotionless.
He's emotionless.
Yeah. Well, but that can be a stretch for, somebody that's
a little bit, but all he's doing is just growling when he speaks. I mean, he speaks in a growl and waves his sword around a lot of it and looks gorgeous at the same time. So there's not much really for me to hold on to.
It's all the other characters around him.
Yeah, that's true. There really wasn't a whole heck of a lot for me to latch on as far as Ciri goes. But she's just a young girl, the actress.
Right.
So there's not a lot to go on there. The one that I am really intrigued with is Yennefer.
Yes. Piglet. Yeah, she comes from obscurity, is 1/4 elf, and so it causes her
she was
deformity.
Very deformed. And she was such a victim.
Yeah, and she's her stepfather sells her.
Oh, he's a beast.
To Tisea to go to Artesia or
Aretusa. Artesia, yeah.
Yeah, she's an artesian well.
Yes. Aretusa.
And become a mage. And, I think becomes probably the most powerful mage at this point.
Well, she certainly, she did become very powerful, but what amazed me was the transformation and growth in her character. And I'm not just talking, no spoilers, people. I mean, this show's been out since 2019. Yeah. She manages to have her body repaired at a horrible cost.
Right.
But, and I will admit, when we get that reveal, oh my God, I thought she was like stunning.
Well, that's part of the whole process of her becoming a mage is they transform them. Very much like they mutate them. The Witchers are mutants. So,
not all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw several people in one episode, I think the last one we just watched, where we got to see Geralt's home, and not all of them look like him.
Well, not all of them.
So
look
I don't
like
think
him,
I don't think all of them have been mutated yet.
Well, anyway.
But in any case, I mean, maybe that's something we're going to learn later on. But in the case of Yennefer, it's not just her outward appearance that has gone through a radical change. Her personality type,
Right.
as well. I mean, she was
drunk with power.
Well, she did, I think, become drunk with power, but she learned a lot at this. You know, she's learned a lot. She's had some serious highs, some serious lows, and she continues to be, for me, the most fascinating of all the characters, and probably one of the most pitiful.
Right. Well, it's interesting to look at her and several things that she says. She went to this one kingdom as the mage to that kingdom. And then she was there she says, I've spent 15 years of my life doing this BS, and really she was trying to do what the council wanted her to do, but she has seen through the council's BS, shall we say, and that's what I think causes the major conflict on the continent.
And it's interesting that you mention that, because as with all high fantasies, as we're seeing here, I mean it's all politics. There's a lot of politics with magic and elves. Very political. So to understand the agenda that exists between all of these different kingdoms,
right?
It goes a heck of a lot deeper than what we've seen thus far. There's so much more going on, and to fully understand everything about the council's motives,
right? I
think, well, obviously there's a lot to discover still,
right,
at this point.
Well, and the fact that Sintra wouldn't allow any mages in their court. That was a big sticking point for the council, and so
although they had their own magic user in the name of in the face of Mousehack, yeah,
but he was not part of the council.
No, he wasn't.
So it's kind of interesting that we're seeing all of these machinations,
and the mystery behind Nilfgaard is still out there. We don't know what their motive is.
Exactly.
We don't know why they're doing what they're doing. Their interest in, well, we can guess as to what their interest is in Sorella.
Right. And the interesting thing, too, another interesting thing, I've said that like 27 times already, but Fringilla, who is the niece of the head of the council, was sent to Nilfgaard, and she has rebelled against the council.
Yeah, she's trying to institute like a new world order.
Then we kind of see at the end of the season 1, Fringilla and Yennefer are the two surviving mages of this gigantic conflict. And who knows what's going to happen. Season 2 kind of fills in some blanks there, but it could be fascinating to see where it's going.
Yeah, we will have this. I will announce this feedback a little bit later, not in this episode, but in a few weeks. But we did get some feedback saying that, and this is from an author, and he said, yeah, the first season is very much like the short stories, and they are confusing.
Yeah.
But apparently he's read the entire series, and he said it does clear up.
Right.
And it does all come together, and it's definitely worth our while to check it out, to keep with it as everything starts to coalesce.
Yeah.
So I'm now I'm intrigued with where this is going to go. And even though I find Henry Cavill, not a major acting stretch, although we are seeing, I don't say cracks in the armor, but some subtleties are beginning to creep through,
right?
Which make Geralt slightly more interesting than he was in the first couple of episodes.
Yes, exactly.
So now I'm finding, and we're seeing more of him now. Thank God. I mean, the show's called The Witcher.
Right.
I want to see more of him. Not to mention, and Yennefer. I love her.
Yeah.
I think she's fantastic.
Something that we saw in season 2 is a little more fighting style of Henry Cavill's character.
Oh, yeah.
And his training, and when you look at the training and you look at him training Cirilla and watch his feet.
Watch the movements.
His feet are Tai Chi moves. And then with the sword as well.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of fascinating to see how, because the Tai Chi movement with the feet is always on an angle so that you're not
exposed,
off balance
yeah,
and exposed.
You're not exposed, you're off balance, and it also allows you to sidestep
exactly
your opponent.
Exactly.
I mean, Tai Chi can be. I mean, it can be an offensive martial art, but it's also very largely a defensive one. And you kind of think about his movements, and even when he's fighting a lot of beasts and creatures, a lot of what he does is purely on defense.
Exactly.
And I think that is Geralt's Geralt's greatest strength is acting in a defensive manner.
Yeah.
And that the sword is literally an extension of his own body. It's not just a weapon,
right?
But it's a part of him.
Actually, absolutely.
I'm finding the series fascinating. We haven't gotten too much grief for. Oh, so it's about time?
Yeah.
No one has said that yet, so I'm grateful.
Well, they probably will now.
Oh, God, I hope not. I hope not. We're sorry, people.
Well, it's just one of those things that we had too many other things going on.
Yeah. I mean,
like the damdemic and
that too.
Some other things.
But who's to say? I mean, but in a way, this is kind of a good thing because that tells us that there is a plethora of genre programming out there for us to watch and enjoy. So for that, I'm grateful, and yes, I'm glad that we're finally on board with The Witcher.
Yes.
Hello, this is Carlton Tetley, the host of This Got Made. And you're listening to the Two Gay Geeks. Am I getting paid for this?
Do you like it better now that you have better headphones?
I just hear more of it. I didn't say it sounded better. It just sounds more.
It just sounds more. Well, here's a few selected birthdays for January 17th through January 23rd, 2022. January 17th, James Earl Jones, actor known for The Lion King, Star Wars, among others.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know that he was the first celebrity to appear on Sesame Street?
I had forgotten about that, but I was introduced to Sesame Street when I was in grade school. Sometimes every now and then, I guess, if the teachers ran out of teaching material, they would get several classes, to get like the two second grade classes together, and we would all watch an episode of Sesame Street. And I seem to remember him being on there, and of course with that gorgeous voice of his. And I don't remember what he did. I wish I could, but I remember he would stand there in front of a wall and recite something.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuck with me.
Interesting. Since he played or did the voiceover for Darth Vader, and David Prowse did the acting portion as the body, he never met David Prowse. Never.
That does not surprise me.
I saw that in the trivia, and I thought, well, that's very interesting.
Well, Prowse probably showed up, in the studio, in the Foley studio, or whenever they were time to do the ADR, and then just recite his lines after production was done.
Yep. Then we have Eartha Kitt.
Oh my God,
actress. Oh my gosh, known as a Catwoman, one of the Catwomen.
Yeah.
In Batman '66. and also as Yzma.
Oh,
in
my
the Emperor's New
favorite.
Groove.
I love my Yzma.
And also as Madame Zeroni.
Madame Zeroni.
In Holes.
Yes.
She was virtually banished from the U.S. after
I remember
making some anti-war statements at a luncheon with Lady Bird Johnson. But she made it back and did lots of things. She was over in France to learn to speak French and did a lot of things. And I think her voice is well suited to French.
I can just imagine her with a French accent. I think it'd be amazing.
Well, and the French
the language.
musical genre there too. So,
but I'm glad she came back because oh my God, I love my Yzma.
Yes. And then we have a friend of ours, Kim Winston and Shirley Morris.
Happy birthday.
January 18th, Bob Peterson, animator, writer, voiceover for Pixar. I don't think there has been a Pixar film that he has not done at least one voice in.
Good.
He was Roz, and he's been so many different characters. He's Doug, in the Doug Adventures, but he's also a great animator and director and writer for Pixar. And then we have Thomas A. Watson, inventor, famous as Come Here, Watson of Bell fame.
Ah.
Yes. He took his share of the profits for the invention of the telephone and started a shipbuilding business in Boston that became the biggest shipbuilder in the late 19th and early 20th century. And it was purchased by Bethlehem Steel at one time. Then we have Facebook friend Aaron Thompson and good friend Scott Linder up in Washington now. And then we have Dr. Trek, Larry Nemechek. Happy birthday,
Happy birthday.
Larry. January 19th, James Watt, inventor of the steam engine in 1776 that kicked off the Industrial Revolution.
Yes.
Then we have Henry Bessemer. Bessemer mucho. I couldn't resist. Oh my gosh. He was an inventor. He discovered a new way to make steel that would go on to become the most important process for making steel until 1950. And that process was to blow air through the molten pig iron to remove the impurities. So his process went, and that was almost 100 years, 1856 to 1950. They used that process. Then we have a good friend of ours, Michael Hickerson and Tim Pratt.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. January 20th, DeForest Kelly.
I'm a doctor, damn it.
Yeah, I'm a doctor, not a stonemason.
I'm a doctor, not an escalator.
Damn it, Jim. Actor, beloved Star Trek actor Dr. McCoy, made a cameo in the pilot episode of Next Gen.
Man, when he showed up.
Oh my gosh.
Nobody knew.
It was like, oh my gosh.
Nobody knew that was going to come up. And it was such a surprise when he showed. It just, wow. It floored, I think it floored the entire Star Trek world when we saw Dr. McCoy show up.
Oh, yeah. I was ecstatic when I saw him. And
a little bit in tears, actually, because it was such a touching scene.
Yeah. And he was one of the most beloved Star Trek actors. He never had a feud with anybody.
Yeah, I can believe that.
So, anyway, then we have a friend of ours who is a comic book writer and artist, Hannibal Taboo. January 21st, Christian Dior, French fashion designer, popularized what he called the new look in fashion in the late 40s and 50s, which was actually kind of a throwback to some Edwardian era clothing pieces.
Really?
Yeah. So they dresses has gotten much shorter, and he lengthened the dresses into wonderful cocktail dresses and, a suit and whatnot like that. And he actually took on 19-year-old Yves Saint Laurent. And in a couple of years, he had... What have I got here? He was named as his successor, and it was just right before he died. He took Eve's mother aside and said, I want to choose him as my successor in this business. And then he went on a vacation in Italy and died.
How convenient.
So, yeah, it was interesting. Then we have Carl Wallenda, Patriarch of the Flying Wallendas, the family of high wire act performers, and they usually performed without safety nets.
Of course they did.
Yep. And a number of tragedies with the family and other people that were, in their employ were accidents.
I could make some really grim jokes, but I won't.
He died at the age of 73 in a stunt in Puerto Rico. He was crossing a wire in between buildings.
Oh, God.
And because of high winds and an improperly secured wire. So
I can't watch people do that.
Oh, it's craziness. January 22nd, John Hurt, actor. What a chameleon. My Lord. He just can do anything. I
love watching him in... It doesn't matter what the movie is.
Very long career, playing all sorts of characters. V for Vendetta, Contact. He was Caligula in I, Claudius. And Harry Potter, Doctor Who. He was the War Doctor in Doctor Who. And just so many other things. And I have marveled at watching a film, several films, and saying, who is that? And then say, John Hurt?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. It's just amazing.
Yeah, I love him. I think my two favorite roles are Ollivander and Haddon from Contact.
Yep. Then we have John Wesley Shipp, actor, The Flash.
Several times, in
Several
fact.
times in two incarnations at least.
Yeah.
And several daytime soap operas.
Oh, yes.
Guiding Light, As the World Turns, All My Children, and a couple of others. He won a couple of daytime Emmys.
He's a good actor. He always has been. I mean, but I think it's nice to see that his star is sort of like rising again because of the Arrowverse.
Yeah. And then we have Facebook friend Tony Padegimus, and then Luciana Faulhaber, who is a filmmaker in her own right. January 23rd, Randolph Scott.
Randolph Scott?
Yes. Actor. He was one of the most popular Western actors ever. And he lived with Cary Grant in a beach house for off and on for many, many years. Yes.
And I hope they were happy.
Yeah. Richard Dean Anderson, actor known for MacGyver and the Stargate series of shows.
Yeah.
Starting with SG-1. And he grew up in Minneapolis and had considered playing professional hockey.
Oh, yeah.
Until he broke both arms in separate accidents on the ice. Yeah.
Oh, that would certainly kind of create a detour in my career plans.
And my friend in Albuquerque, Joanne Ramponi, had lived down the street from him.
Oh, well, isn't that nice?
Called him a little you-know-what.
Indeed.
Yes.
Okay, there's a story there.
Yes. And then we have David Arnold, composer, Independence Day, a bunch of James Bond films, lots of other things that were, just all kinds of different things that he composed music for. And that's it for the birthday.
No, it isn't.
Oh, is there another one?
There is one other. My husband.
Your other husband?
Yeah, my husband and partner in this venture.
My birthday on the 23rd, January 23rd. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
And that's it for the birthdays this time.
Hi, this is Kevin.
And this is Jason.
And we're the co-hosts of The Bright Side with Kevin and Jason, your weekly comedy about tragedy.
Every week, I teach Kevin about some tragic event in history, and then we find the bright side to it.
And every week, I learn from Jason something I wish I never knew.
You can find our podcast anywhere you find podcasts.
That's The Bright Side with Kevin and Jason, your weekly comedy about tragedy.
Go give a blah.
Go give it
go
a listen.
Go give a listen to our friends.
You just went Shakespearean. Go giveth a listen.
Giveth a listen to Jason and Kevin over at the Bright Side Podcast.
I'm Daniel Radcliffe, and I believe that reaching out for help is the bravest thing a person can do. If you are struggling and need support, call the Trevor Lifeline at 1-866-488-7386. It's free and confidential, and trained counselors are there to listen 24/7 without judgment. To learn more about the Trevor Project's life-saving work for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or questioning young people, go to thetrevorproject.org.
We want to give a shout out to the Joshua Tree Feeding Program and the 501c3 nonprofit food pantry for the HIV and AIDS community in Maricopa and Pinal counties. Joshua Tree offers a place where clients can select from a wide assortment of nutritional foods to take home, and they set it up like a store so the clients can pick and choose the food they want, and it empowers them to take only what they want so no food is wasted. They have a second distribution time for the gender non-conforming community that may be experiencing food insecurity regardless of HIV status. As well, they have a pet assistance program, and they have supplements that clients can take home and choose from. They have a nutritionist and a nurse practitioner,
yes,
I think, that comes in and looks at their supplements that they have and make sure nothing is expired, and works with the medications that the clients are taking. And they are an all volunteer organization. Sorry, I got lost here. All volunteer organization, and they could certainly use your input at this time. If you want to give a monthly gift or a recurring gift or a single gift, you can do that by going to jtfp.org.
And it's time for our feedback. These are comments that we received in response to articles and episodes that we ran on our website at tggeeks.com. And the links for each of these articles and episodes will be in the show notes for this episode, article number 361 at tggeeks.com. And you're going to see a pattern coming here, people. Starting with, regarding Hamish Downey's 5 questions with Socks Whitmore. This is somebody that he interviewed for our website. And Hamish says, we got a comment from Hamish Downey saying, please be sure to check out Socks musicals on their website. They are fantastic. And then we got a comment from Socks Whitmore, and they said, did an interview with TG Squared Studios about my artistry and my work on the magical Christmas tree. Check it out. Moving on, regarding TG Geeks episode number 357, where we interviewed Hamish Downey. And Hamish comments saying, thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored and humbled that both of you have supported me so faithfully. Thank you. Kiss. And then moving on, regarding Hamish Downey's feature film, Matcha and Vanilla, to premiere on Gaga Ooh La La on 12/24. got a comment from Hamish Downey saying, thank you so much for your wonderful support.
This guy has given us lots of comments.
He's giving us a lot of comments, yeah. And he said, thank you for giving me so much of your wonderful support. Kiss, hug, kiss, hug. And then, regarding Andrea's angle, matcha and vanilla, bittersweet yet loving. This is Andrea's review of Hamish's first feature film. And we got a comment from Hamish saying, thank you so much for your incredible review. And we close off with...
I was afraid where it was going to go from there because we had kiss, hug, kiss, hug, kiss, hug.
Ew.
And then... No.
No. And then lastly, regarding Hamish Downey's best film I watched in 2021. From Hamish Downey, he asks the question, what was your best film of 2021? And actually, I think that's a really good question.
That's a good question.
Honey, do you have a best film?
I don't have a clue.
I'd have to really think about it. But I think I might... no, I don't know. Because I was...
The last 3 years have all run together. So.
They've all really run together. And the movie that I was going to pick, I realized actually was released in the end of 2019. So I'm not sure. The end of 2020. I really don't know what is the best film of 2021. I have no idea. Maybe Shang-Chi.
Yeah, that was a good one. If you want to leave a comment on anything that we publish, whether it be our articles or our podcast episodes, you can do that. You can do it on Facebook. You can do it on Twitter, Instagram, on YouTube for the episodes, as well as directly on tggeeks.com. And you'll receive a shout out on a future episode. We also have a listener feedback line. If you want to call our listener feedback line, leave a voicemail. We'll play that on air, and then you can be famous too. You can call 469-TG Geeks. That is 469-844-3357. And as always, please play nice.
For more than 2 decades, Judy and Dennis Shepard have honored their son Matt by working to erase hate around the world. The Matthew Shepard Foundation honors his legacy by inspiring the good work of activists, teachers, artists, and legislators, and everyday LGBTQ+ folks and their allies. Join us today in helping to erase hate. Visit MatthewShepard.org.
Thank you to Comcast NBC Universal for that promo. We are huge supporters of independent creators, whether it's filmmakers, comic book artists, writers, or others. If you know of any independent creators, please visit their websites, their Etsy pages, their Twitter pages, their Facebook pages. Chat them up, chat other people up about their stuff, and be sure to support them by buying their stuff. Please consider supporting independent creators. If you are trans or are questioning your gender identity, and if you are in crisis or are feeling isolated and need someone to talk to, or you know of someone in a similar situation, there is a special hotline just for you. The hotline is provided by translifeline.org and staffed by trained counselors who are transgender themselves. The hotline in the U.S. is 877-565-8860. In Canada, it is 877-330-6366. Or you can go to translifeline.org to learn about the important work they are doing. Please reach out for help. You are not alone.
Yeah, baby. They're like two gay geeks. They're together, you know. They're two gay guys and they're geeks. Is that okay?
These new headphones have a real bottom end.
Oh yeah, I'm kind of enjoying some of the music. I mean, even that dreaded birthday music doesn't sound quite so hideous. Okay, but that wasn't an excuse for you to play it. No.
Oh, you sure?
I'm quite sure. Thank you.
You don't like this?
Yeah, it's just lovely. Please. So this is our second segment.
Apparently.
Well, I was going to say that, I mean, we really don't have much of a second segment, but I do kind of want to sort of give a hint as to what we got coming up next week.
What do we have coming up next week?
Oh, we got an
What do we have? What is it?
We have an author coming on.
Oh, my gosh. Could it be Katie Edwards?
Maybe?
Of the tarot sequence?
Yeah, maybe.
I think so. And I think he's going to talk about book number 2.
No, book number 3.
3.
He's going to
4.
3.
7.
Well, he might talk. I mean, God knows what he's going to talk about. I mean, granted, there are some things that he will not share. Now, I will admit that there are things that he will share with us when we're not recording.
Yes.
But he will share, publicly what he will share. But I can guarantee that it is going to be good. And
he's teased
that he's going to read a scene.
some scenes from the book 3.
Book 3. Wow.
Wow.
I wish we had book 4.
I'm really lost today. We discovered a website glitch, and I've been dealing with that for like 4 hours. So I'm a little
you're a little discombobulated. But I would love a book. I would love more on book 4 because book 3 was so grim.
Yes.
But he will be reading something from book 3, something that apparently he read at Worldcon, which got huge laughs. So, and it's always nice to have him on the show. I'm very excited for that. So that will be coming up next week. All you fans of Mr. Katie Edwards out there.
Yes. And now we're going to play a promo that was from the 1990s featuring Wilson Cruz when he was on My So-Called Life. You know him today as Dr. Culber on Star Trek Discovery. And if you have are triggered by sounds of violence, please skip forward for about 30 seconds. And this is an edited version of that promo.
Is that 2 guys over there?
No way.
It is, man.
Hey, fellas.
Come on over here.
Gay men have become the #1 target for hate crimes in Los Angeles.
Stop, leave him alive, boy.
Gay bashing is a crime, a hate crime. And like AIDS, hate doesn't discriminate. It can attack anyone. So if you think that gay bashing proves how bad you are, I mean, think again, guys.
And it's time for our weekly review. These are items that we ran on our website at tggeeks.com this past week, and the links for each of these articles will be in the show notes for this episode number 361 on our website at tggeeks.com, starting with Sunday, January 9th, Nerdy Chupacabras number 82. 82, my God. We're closing in on 100, people. On Monday the 10th, TG Geeks episode number 360. On Tuesday the 11th, Ben's Breakdown, The Witcher, 3-episode thoughts. On Wednesday the 12th, Andrea's Angle, Jockey, thoughtful character story. This is a movie review of hers. On Thursday the 13th, Andrea's Angle, Hotel Transylvania, Transformania, fun addition to series. On Friday the 14th, Hamish Downey's 5 Questions with Cameron Cole. And we close it off with Saturday the 15th, Death on the Nile, in theaters February 11th. We have some shout-outs that we need to make. First to Brian Weber, also known as Arkle. He's a good friend of ours and a good friend on the show. And he has his Arkle Times Post Dispatch News, which you can find on Twitter. And to find that on Twitter, go to Brian the Ampersand List YouTuber, or at Geek of All Trades, and Geek is spelled G, the number 3, Geek of All Trades. And while you're looking at all things Arkle, go to his YouTube channel, Arkle Studios. He has a number of his projects there. His Shameless Cash Grab series, which is in Season 7, Garkle, as well as his Rants vs. Zombies series. Yes, that is over, but his past episodes are still there. He also has Arkle Tier Ranks, his game videos of Trick and Treat, as well as Star Trek Online. We must also give some shout-outs to a couple of Facebook groups for allowing us to post our episodes and relevant articles on their pages. First two, Gay Geeks After Hours. Big thanks to them when their moderators could say, oh, please share away. Their URL is facebook.com/group/Gay Geeks After Hours, and then to The Gay Geek for also allowing us to share our stuff there. And their URL is facebook.com/group/The Gay Geek. And as always, we give special thanks to their moderator, Jeremiah Reeves.
Thank you, Jeremiah. Other places we can be found are Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Amazon Podcasts, as well as whether other fine podcasts can be found. Also, check us out on Sci Fi Radio at 3 a.m. and 3 p.m. Pacific Time on Tuesdays, and listen to their other content. They are a 24-hour geeky internet radio station. Please rate us and review us on iTunes, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And that should do it for this episode of TG Geeks Webcast. Be sure to check out the article for this webcast episode. We'll have several links on the page. And remember, you can comment on our Facebook page or our website, tggeeks.com, or you can leave us a voicemail at 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357 from TG Squared Studios. I'm Keith Lane. Thanks for listening. Please be kind to yourself and those around you. Stay safe. Wear a mask. Get vaccinated. Peace.
Cheers.